everything is about to change.
That's not a plane.
Ships may appear over your oceans.
So they've had an emergency briefing in Congress about these drones. One Congress member has stated that there are confirmed reports of the US Coast Guard seeing these things coming out of the Atlantic Ocean.
Residents sharing eerie videos like these on social media. And now the FBI is investigating.
We know that there are objects or phenomena observed in our airspace, as our witnesses will testify, and also possibly in our oceans. In many cases, we don't know what they are.
Former military and NASA officials testify. In one instance, a retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral claimed there was a near mid-air collision while an aircraft carrier was operating off the East Coast.
The text of the email was brief but alarming, with words to the effect, "If any of you know what these are, tell me ASAP. We are having multiple near mid-air collisions."
At least 50 drones were witnessed coming out of the Atlantic Ocean and then subsequently following, shadowing the Coast Guard, and then going onto the mainland, then coming back, and then going below the horizon of the Atlantic Ocean again.
Social media platforms have been inundated the past few months with reports of drones and mysterious orb sightings. These have occurred all across the United States, particularly in the Northeast. One witness, an Air Force veteran, claimed that the orbs are unlike conventional aircraft. The drones have been sighted hovering for hours and often described as big as SUVs. Official response is that the craft pose no national threat, but as yet there has been no explanation for the phenomenon. As to be expected, speculations have run wild, suggesting everything from advanced government technology to foreign aircraft and non-human beings concerned with our world. Tonight we'll discuss the situation and try to find some answers.
Hey!
Hello. Hey,
So, let's see. I know, is that Stacy talking away in the comments there?
Yep.
So my name is Maryam. I'm a psychic medium. You guys know Harlow, and I co-produce Myth or Mystery and our True Crime Psychic Eye podcast series. And we wanted to come on tonight and just have a conversation about what the frick is going on in the skies. And this started like around I mean, I know it's been going on for a while, but it started picking up in November, right?
Right. Yep. That's when I started seeing it.
Okay, so that's when you started seeing it. I mean, I was really late to the game and didn't start seeing it till I think December. Like at first I was like, okay, these are probably like drones by humans, right? I wasn't really buying into it being anything else. And then as it started to get crazier and crazier, Harlow and I were like, what is happening? So tonight we're going to show some of the videos that we want to get information on, that we want to channel some information on, that we want to use our intuition and go, who are these beings? What's happening? For those of you that watch Myth or Mystery, I've already done a lot of kind of figuring out. It's coming from multiple sources. We've got it coming from human, right? We've got it coming from alien, UFO, extraterrestrial. And then we have this third component. Actually, I'm going to say third and fourth component. This third component was this ET group that was interfering. And then we had this other component of plasmas. What were they called? Plasmoids or?
Yeah, the plasmoids.
Right. So that's technically four, right? We have the good ETs, the interference ETs, the human drones, and then these plasmoids. So what is what? And that's what, like each, like, again, if you've watched Myth or Mystery, we've pulled in different videos and they all kind of meant something different. And I think one was like a communication, one was a UFO. I don't know. Did we do one yet that was an actual plasmoid?
I don't think so.
I don't think we did either. So noticing what's what is going to be really kind of what we're going to break down tonight. So bear with us. We might want to, it just occurred to me, we might want to go back and pull some old videos that we have to see what they are. And, so we want you guys to, as always, be engaged with us, ask questions. Especially if I'm channeling, ask questions in the comments. Harlow can keep an eye out and throw those questions out there. We may be put up some polling to get an idea of what you guys are thinking, what you've experienced. Hi, Violet, Stacy, Skeleton Crew, Anton's here. Hi. So yeah, please join in. Use your intuition. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Susan, Joanne. Use your intuition and let's jump in and see what we've got. So we've pulled some videos that we found interesting. I tried to not duplicate from Myth or Mystery, so we tried to pull stuff we hadn't yet shown there, and let's see what we think. I'm going to play. Okay, we'll start with this. Actually, I'm going to change things up a little bit, Harlow, because one of the things that has been most fascinating to me is this whole aliens, UFOs coming from the oceans. Now, I know this is going to be crazy, but that was kind of new for me. I was like, what? We're doing that too? Like we're coming from up. What are we doing in the oceans? What? And I didn't realize that. I genuinely didn't realize that was a thing. And like for those of you guys that know me, you know that I don't read and I don't follow really anything UFO, paranormal, anything like that. And I don't do that so that I can get real information that's channeled, that isn't interfered with news articles I would have read or videos or anything like that. Now,
right, no preconceived. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
I said no preconceived ideas about anything. Yeah.
Right. And so what I thought was so interesting is I see this first video and, of course you always have to go, okay, is this real? Is this fake? It's always hard to tell. And so I, of course, go to Harlow, who is my fact checker, whether it's intuitive or actually start sifting through to find stuff. And I was like, UFOs in the ocean? What is going on? And the really fascinating part was there's like very little footage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one video Harlow found for me, and I couldn't even see it. And it was hard. And she's like, there's nothing out there. Now, since all of this activity started, there is one video that I have where they're hovering over, but we don't see him like coming out or going in.
Right. There was that one episode of Expedition X, though, that I did show you where they were studying that and they did see something come out of the ocean.
So tell us a little bit about that.
It was just an interesting one because they were following up on reports that they'd have and they wanted to check into it too. So they had all their equipment set up. There was someone farther away, someone close to the beach, someone went and was on a boat, and they captured it coming out of the ocean. It was small, but you could see it come out of the ocean.
I remember. Yeah, you showed me that. It was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're going to dive into that, no pun intended, because we want to know what's going on in there. Anton, bases in the oceans. Yeah, that's what's happening. We're going to find that. The first thing that keeps, that just keeps kind of floating around through my head is Atlantis. So I want to see if there's any pieces there. But what's this? I hope you explain the Federation. What's that, Harlow?
A joke.
Oh, it is? I don't need to know what that is.
She's referring to Star Trek and all that good stuff.
See, I don't watch that. I heard they're over the mountains and oceans does not frighten people. Could be for sure.
There's even rumors of bases in Mount Shasta. There's been that kind of rumor for so many years.
We did that episode, right? Me, you, and Denise. And
right.
We did find bases in Shasta, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
It's also proposed there could be bases in the Antarctica mountains. Yeah. I mean, it's like the, you know, the, I just noticed something. Hold on one sec. Hold on. I got to fix something really quick. Oopsie. Before I finish this thought. The the universe is so massive that I think everything and anything's possible, right?
Mhm.
And I think to think that there's only one base in one specific area, or like what I was doing where I was like, UFOs come from the sky only, and then it's like, no, they come from the oceans, and you're like, they do? Well, why wouldn't they? Like, why was I even that close-minded to think that's not a possibility?
Well, if you stop and think, most of the ocean is so deep and vast, it hasn't even been discovered at all. Just a minuscule amount, really. So anything could be going on down there.
Right. That's a good point. Not a joke. I didn't even know it was a Star Trek thing. Oh, so Stacy, do I need to bring you up here to explain what it is? Because I can if you want. You're probably like, no, I'm in my pajamas and I'm drinking. But can you explain to us what it is? I've heard about craft coming in and out of the oceans, but haven't seen any footage. It would be a great place for them to be without being found.
For sure.
I mean, I guess the obvious is that very few people are out in the middle of the ocean, right? So to grab that footage is hard. Is that probably where that's coming from?
Maybe.
But then you have people that are on boats and, I mean, ships, right? That are constantly like hauling stuff. Like maybe they see stuff.
Probably happens so fast. We'd be like trying to catch a ghost in the moment. It would be pretty tough to grab your camera and get it in time.
Right. But so the ones that seem to hover, those seem to be the ones that are, obviously we can grab that footage, which is what's happening now because they're up in the air and they're hovering. They're not taking off right away.
Right.
Okay.
That's what makes them so different.
Right. And so tonight we wanted to, I definitely want to talk, I want to channel some information on that. I definitely want to look at these other ones too. Okay, so let me find the videos I want to do. One sec. Everything's kind of, oh, it's all in here. That's why I can't, that logo. I'm trying to get rid of that. Hang on one sec, you guys. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. So here we go.
Hi guys, just the latest report on what's going on. So they've had an emergency briefing in Congress about these drones. One Congress member has stated that there are confirmed reports of the US Coast Guard seeing these things coming out of the Atlantic Ocean. That is the latest news. At least 50 drones were witnessed coming out of the Atlantic Ocean and then subsequently shadowing the Coast Guard and then going onto the mainland, then coming back and then going below the horizon of the Atlantic Ocean again. So do with that information what you will. There are also unconfirmed reports that they're not in fact drones, but actually orbs. Again, I'm getting orbs coming up quite a lot again from certain news outlets, as well as the podcast Redacted that got sent some images with regards to the incursions going on over New Jersey right now and neighboring states. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting seeing how these guys are dealing with this. There's a lot of frustration in New Jersey. You know, obviously the New Jersey mayor, governor more like, has said that, you know, it's not a direct threat. But what he did say, which was very interesting, is that whenever we get close to these things, they go dark, which means they either disappear off radar or they disappear visually. We don't have drones that do that. And of course, why would drones do that with lights on them in the first place? These are ongoing. Obviously, we've done quite a lot of videos on this now, but I knew about the ocean situation in the lives. I haven't commented on it because I wanted to see if there was anyone in the public sphere that was going to mention it. It was just mentioned in the emergency congressional hearing on this situation. So that is something that is now confirmed. They have been seen, at least 50 of them, coming out of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think a Mavic Pro can do that. So let's keep our eyes and ears peeled.
If you've been following the Dior bag situation, you're going to want to watch this. This is from a United States patent owned by the U.S. Navy. You see that black squiggly thing up there? You see what it says? Anybody can look this up, it's public. This was a technology patented by the US Navy in 2018, right there. This might be a partial explanation, but probably not a full explanation. I have my own views about plasma in general. I think it might be alive, but anyway. I'm reading the abstract right here. A method where a laser beam is configured to generate a laser-induced plasma filament, and the LIPF acts as a decoy to distract a homing missile or other threat. What they're referring to is a laser that can be mounted to the back of an air vehicle to generate a ghost image of that vehicle in the form of like a plasma hologram to distract heat-seeking missiles. I'm going to bring that diagram back up, but a hologram that can reach hundreds of meters long at high powers. Here's the math to describe the laser power versus the plasma density, how big it is. So here's how it's supposed to work. Here comes an incoming infrared missile, plasma. Missile goes for the plasma instead of the plane. Keep in mind, this was almost like 7 years ago. Imagine what they had.
Okay, so that whole diagram that guy was showing about the plasma and the us being able to shoot lasers at it. I mean, it's say it's beyond me is an understatement. But one thing I can say about this plasma concept is it is a communication tool that I've always felt. As soon as that conversation started, it's a communication tool, and that communication tool goes well beyond just humans. There's other beings that can communicate with it, and it almost feels like a life in itself, which I find really fascinating. But I want to answer some questions really quick. Stacy said she sent me. You guys, I'm terrible. I'm really only on YouTube now. I'm not on I'm very rarely on TikTok and Insta unless they post stuff. So I'm sorry. I'll go back and look at that, Stacy, and see what she has to say. Listen, there's so many mediums out there that are going to channel so much different information. They're going to channel stuff similar to me, very different from me, and it's really all of it when they're actual legit mediums, it's all true because we're all picking up on something so different. The universe is so massive. There's more information than we can actually ever put our hands and our brains around. So you're going to be hearing all kinds of stuff. There isn't one way. Let's just say that there isn't one way. There isn't only one medium who has all the answers. We're all going to be sharing information, and use your intuition on what aligns with what you think and feel also. We are putting up some polls to get some information from you guys to keep this conversation going. What are your thoughts? What do you think? What do you feel on all of this? So go to the on my YouTube page and jump into that polling. Anton, following a proposed general theory, why couldn't wormholes have entrances and exits in the oceans? Anton is a very, very smart young man. So there's going to be some thought process that go, again, way over my head. Harlow, you're a lot smarter than me. I mean, of course, anything and everything is possible. I will nail down more information. I just, for us as a group, think big. It's not one way. It's not linear, right? So I think for sure, you think Carlo, that's absolutely a possibility. Okay. And then super intelligent octopi from under the ocean. I mean, again, whatever is possible. Octopi are definitely alien. So let's get into that. I want to talk a little bit more about the plasmoids for a minute because I want to just get some clarification for my own communication on them. There's a video I have that I want to actually dig out and play for you guys. Okay. Let's see. Let me try see if I can find this video that for me feels like, so the difference between orbs and plasmoids.
Plasmoids, yeah.
They look very similar, right? So, being able to tell the difference. I feel like, hold on, let me pull up. I'm going to pull this video up that I feel is more of a communication plasmoid than anything else. Let me see if it's in mine.
Guys, I got some amazing footage for you. Look at this. This is straight out of New Jersey about 3 days ago. A gentleman was using a high-powered telescope that he was observing a UAP and basically zoomed into this object here, and look at it. What is that? I'm going to enhance this video a little bit to kind of get some more of the finer details and see what we're working with. So like the other day with that lady who spoke to that plasmoid and it reacted, look at this. It's kind of similar. If you look at the underneath, it looks like there's some sort of propulsion there. I'm not sure. It could be a 4-dimensional object in a 3-dimensional plane, or 5th-dimensional that isn't kind of showing its true self, or, you know, basically in our perception. I don't know. This footage is insane.
So I really felt like that image that we just saw, which I'll pull up again for us, is a plasmoid, right? But the thing that's interesting about them is that they're communicating with people, right? If that's really what's happening, they're communicating with people. So if they're communicating with people, I don't mean to be rude, but I just can't imagine the US creating something that conscious. Do you know what I mean? Like
That
it
was
doesn't.
one of the questions I wondered about. It's like you see some of these videos with the little boy interacting. There's several videos of people interacting, like that one that we shined the light on it and it came closer. It's hard to believe the government technology would react that way, or any craft from a foreign nation would act that way.
Okay, I agree, right? So that
Mhm.
means we got to figure out what's happening. What do you guys think? I'm curious. I mean, and when I say think, it's me. So it's like I want you to think beyond just the brain. I want you to get some intuition going on in there. And what do you feel like is going on? I feel like these images we're looking at right now, they just feel like, hold on. Okay, so we may have a point here, Harlow, as far as it not being solely created by humans. It's a combination of human consciousness with ET consciousness.
Mhm.
And the communication, so it feels to me almost like a telephone, but not like, but like one of the, like a phone now, not like an old school phone, where it can actually do multiple things. And in, so like right now, my phone as is isn't communicating, right? It's not being used as a communication tool, But if I turn on that specific attribute, I can use it to communicate. So, I feel like these plasmoids are two things. Is you can, depending on who's utilizing it, it can be utilized as a communication source, or it's a directional, almost compass. It's not that the plasmoid itself, I mean, the plasmoid itself does have a consciousness, if you will, because it's capable of so many different things, more things than I just mentioned, obviously. But the communication isn't coming from the plasmoid itself. The communication is coming from someone who's utilizing the plasmoid as we would utilize a phone. Did I make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's what those guys are. Let me see what you guys have to say. I feel like there's something alive connected to them. Violet, yes, there is.
Exactly. Yep.
But not all the time there is. It's like I can see the plasmoid and I can see the being on the ET on the other side that can move in and out of it and communicate with it. What were you going to say?
It just, I don't know, to me, it makes sense that it's preparing us. It's like, first, we're going to get all this stuff out there. We're going to get you used to seeing it so that it doesn't totally freak you out, or you're not scared the world's going to end, and be more curious and start paying more attention.
I love that. That 100%, because the beings that I'm feeling behind it are very, very light and almost translucent and gentle. And again, these beings are living in their own galaxy, if you will. They're utilizing these plasmoids as a telephone of communication. But then humans here, government officials, whomever, are able to utilize those plasmoids as another form of communication, like a satellite, and use it for many, many different things. Why is it being shown now? Why are we seeing them now? What has happened to make them visual and obvious?
Well, our world is pretty much in chaos.
There's that, but what I'm feeling, I mean, obviously there's that. But what I'm also being shown and feeling is like it was shaken. I'm not going to say this is literally what's happening. I'm using it to describe what I'm seeing. It's like something was holding it in, like I don't know. See, I don't know science, but like, you know how we put satellites up, right? Is something holding that satellite? Because it feels like something holds the plasmoids, but was holding them at a higher level so we couldn't see them. And it wasn't to hide them from us. That's how they were using them. And they shook loose. It's like they fell or something. You know what I mean? And so it feels like it was here and then it got shook loose, and now it's and were they supposed to shake loose? Were they yes, that's where we start to go, what happened? How did this happen? That shouldn't have happened. But I also am not feeling from our government a sense of panic about it. They're still functioning, it's still doing what it's supposed to be doing. They're just staying tight-lipped, because how do you describe everything we just said? Let me see what's going on here.
Yeah, lots of comments.
Yeah. I wish I had my glasses. My problem with that outlook is we've had 2,500 plus nuclear detonations on Earth since World War II. When do they step in and stop us from destroying the planet or ourselves? What's the magic number? 3,000. I love this point, 3D the Destroyer. You may not agree with this, but I'm going to channel this so you know that it's not opinion. Free will. Free will. We all have free will. Although we all have a 50-50 co-creation assignment, contract, we have free will. And God, the universe, spirit, will never interfere with free will. ETs are not here to stop free will. ETs are not here to stop the human race from doing what it intends to do. Our ETs are here to teach, to inspire, to enlighten, to lift up. Communicate with us. All of you, communicate with us. Don't wait for someone else to do it. And when we all learn to communicate, the vibration raises. Our anger lessens. Our fear lessens. When the fear and the anger decreases, the elevation and communication and enlightenment rises. When the enlightenment and communication rises, the desire to do harm lessens. It is on you to raise your vibration. As each individual raises their vibration, the collective will inevitably raise, but we can't come in and force that on you. We cannot come in and force that on you. You cannot take a third grader and force it to learn geometry. You cannot do that. There is a life that lives in between third grade and geometry, and that life must be lived. Our job is not to stop free will. Someone is asking if we can prevent or withhold or control destructive individuals. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, yes. But if the collective consciousness agrees with the individuals, here is free will. Questions?
What occurred to me is that's where Stacy's comment, the Federation, comes into play, because if you watch much Star Trek, you know that they could never change the course of history. They couldn't affect other planets because those planets have to experience everything and learn. So that was very well timed.
And very well said. We know, Harlow. They just said, we know you.
Ah, very cool.
Who they're asking, now this will be a question for in private for later for you, but they're asking, who are you? And they ask that by asking you to ask you, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I come from? Who am I?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the other day.
These beings are very lean, very tall, very kind, and very gentle. Have a very light, fun sense of humor. And they say that we perceive them as green, but they're not green. The reason why aliens and ETs have always been perceived as green is because there is something about the energy vibration that they vibrate that our human eye perceives and sees as green. But ultimately, we are not green. And they laugh. Okay, questions?
Let's see. Anton was asking about the different kinds of plasma and what that feels like. Hot or cold, or it's interesting.
We are behind the plasmas, meaning if there's a plasma here, we stay behind it. So we are not affected or influenced by it. There's not a feeling attached to it that they're sharing. There's not a sensation.
Okay.
Just like when you hold the phone up to your ear, there's not a sensation.
Okay. And Violet's asking if there will be enough people whose free will takes us in the direction of success, or will the destructive side prevail?
To be determined.
Mm-hmm.
We are on the edge, on the cusp, and that is to be determined. It is not looking great, but it is fluid.
Okay. And then how can we ensure the alien safety? Susan is asking.
We can't. They are stronger, clear, more powerful than us. So,
yeah.
If one were to be intercepted like it was at Roswell, that is in essence almost like a sacrificial act on their part in order for us to believe.
Like a reveal in stages.
We're like babies to them. They are here keeping an eye on us, making sure we don't choke on some of the toys they have left us to play around with. Interesting. What can we do to push it into the positive direction? Get ready for the lecture. Meditation, non-negotiable. Plant-based diet, so you're no longer harming other beings that breathe and that are sentient. Yoga, balancing the emotional body with therapy. Journaling, taking care of the human physical body by strengthening it, nurturing it, caring for it. It will only start with you. It cannot expand out if it doesn't start with you. It cannot. We can speak words until we're blue in the face, but if we are not practicing, nothing will change. If I am not practicing those 5 steps, nothing will change. Even if I'm channeling information, if I am not practicing that light, nothing will change. I am not a teacher if I am not practicing. I am not a teacher if I am not first healing me, filling me, and moving from a place of not harming others, human, animal, any level. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that it's possible every day, all day. I'm saying my first step is there. And if every step I take comes from that place, eventually I will get there and others will get there also. It has to start here. It cannot start anywhere else. And this is where they talked about free will. We're not just going to come in and control you guys and demand and require that you guys figure it out. I can't go into that 3-year-old and demand that it learns geometry. It doesn't even know how to speak yet. Or I don't know what happens at 3. I don't have kids, but you know where I'm going with that. Go ahead. Sorry.
We're often looking for the easy fix. We don't want to do the work. And that's really going to come into play here.
And that's why we're in the position we're in, right? because humans figured out how to cut corners and live a life that creates a void by collecting things, right? And that collection of things and stimulating the senses with touch, food, visuals, but not stimulating anything spiritually has created the void. And in that void steps destruction. And then in that destruction is where we start to see things whittling away. But we can reverse that. Is January 25th their day to reveal? I'm not really big on this hard line of anything. When it comes to everything and anything, there's no hard lines. Like, keep in mind, January 25th is a human calendar, right? It's a human calendar. Time is man-made. So I'm not saying they're not capable of understanding our time and following our time. And listen, I don't want to sit here and I'm not saying that, no, it's not their day to reveal. I just don't feel that that light-filled beings will do anything that causes chaos. I feel like the reveal is happening. The reveal is what we're talking about right now. The reveal is why Harlow and I are like, we have to talk about this and really talk about it. The reveal is happening. It's now. It's happening, right? These things are incredible that we're looking at and seeing and witnessing. All right. So Harlow posted a poll. The question was, does alien life live in our oceans? 57% yes, 14% no, 29% only move through it. Hold on. Let me put this up. God forbid I remember my glasses. I can talk to aliens, but I can't remember my glasses. I can't see. Hold on. I'm going to put this up for you guys to see. Okay. All right. So 57% yes, there's alien life in oceans. 14% no, 29% say they only move through it. The moving through it part is fascinating. The living in it, to me, we got to get into that because I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, what is that? All right, so did we finish though on the plasmoids, on what these guys are? I feel like we answered a lot of those questions. I'll just double check. Here, Anton.
Yeah, that's the only other one I saw.
If they're looking through it, could the plasma be acting as the material that constructs a portal and view? Yeah, that's right, Harlow? That sounds like what I was trying to explain.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that being considered, it's not my free will or most people's. If some
psychopathic politician pushes the buttons and unleashes their nuclear arsenal.
So love this. I'm loving 3D the Destroyer. I'm loving your questions and your comments and your thought process. That collective that person can only exist if the collective believes it. And if the collective supports it. So just because you and I don't support that and don't believe that and don't want that to be what happens, the collective right now believes that, which is why that person or that being is capable of doing that and is doing that, there's many people that have been already doing it with all these wars. So how we shift that is what I was saying, is shifting you, and that's going to influence those around you. That's going to inspire those around you. That's going to change those around you. I know it sounds, and I wish I had some big magic wand and big, just bold statement that said the world's going to change and the ETs are going to save us. The ETs are going to teach us how to save ourselves. It's just like if you raise a child. Ideally, I think every parent's intention is for the child to be independent and think for itself and learn for itself. We can't teach a child how to walk. That child has to get up and fall, get up and fall, get up and fall. That's it. That's the only way that child's going to learn, because if we're constantly holding its hands and never letting go of it, it's never going to learn to walk. And that's exactly where we're at. And so each individual has to learn how to walk. And it's a very subtle, boring approach to enlightenment. Something I hear a lot of people talk about is, just how waking up, their consciousness, booming, and this enlightenment just all of a sudden showing up. 98% of the time, enlightenment is a slow, quiet, subtle process. Why? Because the more we are on this path of enlightenment, the more subtle and quiet we become about it, because we don't want to sound like an a-hole, a pretentious a-hole, because we don't feel like that anymore. We feel this quiet internal strength and confidence that just shines, and we don't feel the need to shout it from the rooftops. And you wake up one day with this feeling of, okay, I'm okay, and I'm feeling comfortable in this skin because I'm understanding who I am as a spiritual being. And it's quiet and it's subtle, right? Yes, sometimes people will have awakenings. Like if somebody has a near death experience, they go through a painful illness, and they'll literally come out and be like, I am different. Yes, that happens. But for all of us today in this conversation, it is a slow, subtle movement. Now, because of what's happening on the planet, it's not going to be as slow and subtle as it was for maybe me or for generations before me. If you choose to step on that path now with those 5 steps that I talk about, boom, 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 that shit can happen fast. Okay. I definitely need to work harder on myself. So, Susan, be gentle. Focus on the 5 steps instead of thinking that you need to fix you. Meditation, taking care of the physical body, plant-based diet, so we're moving away from harming others. Therapy when we need it. Yoga. And what those 5 steps do is gently and subtly every day chip away at suffering in a way that isn't overwhelming, and in a way that doesn't make us feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to fix me. There's nothing to fix. It's just peeling away layers and going, oh, there I am. Underneath this physical thing that carries all this emotion and disease and stiffness and suffering and all the stuff, right? Oh, you just peel that away, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there I am. My consciousness, my consciousness is what survives when the physical body dies. The consciousness survives when the physical body dies. So that's how we never die. It's the physical body that dies, but the consciousness lives on. And what I'm asking you all with these 5 steps, I'm asking you to be that consciousness now in this body and start communicating with these ETs, with your guides, with blah, 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 and doing the work that I'm doing. You do it, right? Eric, in my opinion, ET is concerned we will take nuclear weapons on our exploration of space travel. They don't want that, obviously. Ooh, nice little segue there, Eric. Yes, the discussion of our weapons and exploration of space. Harlow, do you have something you'd like to add to that?
No, it's just there's been so many videos captured of UFOs around nuclear sites and possibly stopping testing, and it's pretty interesting that comes up now.
So, Eric, let's talk about that in free will. Now, when we start encroaching in other galaxies, in other realms, in other planets, we'll get our asses kicked. Because now we're encroaching, right? So yes, there's free will, but if I decide to go rob my neighbor and their home, they're going to kick my ass, right? Because I am invading someone's space. I have the free will to do it, but I might get my ass kicked in the process. So, yes, that is a whole other conversation of how ETs will step in and destroy if needed. Destroy only if needed. Only if needed. Good point, Eric. Are there an alien race called the Palladians? Yes, there is. Very close to my heart. Is there a such thing as these aliens? Oh, sorry. Yes, Christopher. Yes, there's many books on them. Yes, I feel them very deeply. I think they may be my ET family. For some reason I've been directed. Have you noticed, Harlow, to use the word ET versus alien? Interesting,
Tonight,
right?
especially. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you know me, I don't like putting labels on anything. Yes, go research. Christopher, if that name came across your path, go. They're a beautiful, beautiful family. As the way attractive Nordic human looking aliens. Yes. Thank you, 3D. Very cool. Let's see what else you got to say. Also, considering all the abduction cases over the past 80, most report they are probed and experimented without compassion from them, like some sort of animal, often against the abductee's free will. Yes. So let's talk about abduction. Alien abduction. Simply put, unfortunately, people on Earth, humans abduct humans on Earth, right? There's kidnappings, there's abusive relationships, there's violence. This goes on amongst humans. The only reason why it's scarier to humans to think of alien abducting us is because we don't know what an alien is, right? But it is no different than when humans do it to humans. And it can be stopped. Very important that you understand that. That's some of the work I do, is helping people stop those encounters. Just like if a male or female is in a abusive relationship, they will seek out help to stop the abuse. And so that's a lot of times that help starts with the police, and the police remove first, right? Okay, so now we start to work on that pattern. Why are we in that pattern? Why does this keep happening to me? And that's where I come in and say, let's figure out why this keeps happening to you. And sometimes I actually do go in and interfere with the ETs that are doing it and physically remove them and stop and disconnect that relationship. Only when that is obviously, like we've talked about, free will, and when I'm allowed to do that. And we talked about this already for Anton, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's most of the questions. I think we're caught up.
Okay. All right. Nice. Great questions. Okay. Now, let's get to this whole ocean thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull this up, because I want to know what the heck's going on with the ocean. I'm just pulling up this video. Okay, so for me, I don't know if you guys have witnessed these things that start like this light and then they turn into this expansive thing. What's interesting is how many people keep saying it looks like water on the lens. And it does look like water on the lens. What came to me earlier was these beings are the ones that reside in the oceans. And that's why they're being presented or shown as water on the lens, which is just fascinating, right? Look at that. This is mind-blowing, right? And Harlow has found so many people that have captured this. This is
same pattern. Yeah.
Pattern. And it all looks the same. And there's no way this is a fluke or a one-off. There are so many people with this same thing. And these beings are just incredible to me. So fascinating. So now we move on. This was a plasmoid, but then I wanted to get to this the lights over the ocean to me was pretty incredible. Hang on one sec. It's coming up. It doesn't really let me there, that one. Those lights. Wow. Before I jump in, what does that feel like to you guys? What does that feel like to you, Harlow?
There's something peaceful about it. It's really interesting. It's kind of like a constellation, but it's just spread out so nicely.
Yes,
it's really calming.
It is. That's exactly what I felt. It was very calming. Hi, KD Paranormal. Very calming, very this right here and this here is an example of how they are coming in without scaring, right? And so someone made the comment earlier, like I think it was Stacy saying, are they choosing, or she heard they were choosing the oceans or wherever, so it was not as invasive. And yes, because there's this sense of calm that it does bring to us. But I want to get to the real question. Hold on. 3D's asking a question. As I went here, read the book Birthright by Timothy Alberino. Have you read that, Harlow, or heard of it?
No.
I haven't either, which doesn't mean much. But I'm curious if anyone else out there has. Yeah. So, Stacy, if it's overwhelming to you, I know your energy, and it's because your energy is very hyperactive. You want to bring it down. And if this is Jen, your energy, you want to keep. So Stacy, think of bringing the energy down. That'll help ground you in it, so it's not overwhelming. And Jen, you think of expanding the energy out. But this, okay, so let's talk about the oceans. Atlantis, Shasta. Yes, they're saying yes to those. And I'm hearing a no, there's not like a living in the ocean. There was life in the oceans, and that life hasn't been able to sustain itself. The goal is to repopulate the oceans so that they can return to that space. Atlantis was in the ocean, correct?
Yeah.
The goal is to repopulate and live there again. So it's almost like there's this visual and feeling of them like building a house, like building. They travel down, they go, like they're still there. They're still doing this, but they aren't able to fully, and what's the word? They're encompass or live completely under the oceans, because the oceans have been so polluted and destroyed.
Right.
But they are working to be able to be there again. And so it's like almost like literally almost seeing them like a construction crew. And so when they're coming and going, they're building. But if the planet and the oceans continue to pollute, the building will stop. We aren't living there currently. We are residing. We are meetings. There are meetings. That's what it is. There are meetings because humans can't reach us down there. They're getting better at communicating with us in the cosmos, which we want and we encourage, but there's so much pollutant and so much opportunity for destruction from humans that we need a place that we cannot be identified, found, and that is the oceans. And I'm not giving anything away by saying that, because no one's going to be able to find them. Questions?
Not seeing any yet. How long have they been in the oceans?
Atlantis, they haven't been back.
Okay.
Again, they haven't been back to live since Atlantis.
So that's why we're seeing so many of them now.
They're rebuilding.
Right.
They are telling me about the ice caps, though. Anton. They're calling out Anton. Ice caps. Ice caps. Is that, I don't know if he said that specifically, but they're telling him ice caps.
Okay.
There are a lot of reservations, like they're saying the word like you would say an Indian reservation, ET reservations. There are a lot of those that exist on our Earth, but they aren't living there. They say they're utilizing them like an office, home office, coming and going, coming and going.
Is it one specific alien group in the ocean, or is it many?
Many.
Okay.
Many that are light, dark, in between. Many. No fighting, though. We don't fight. We don't fight for territory. You will see more of us in the oceans very soon. An influx that will scare some, enlighten others. Airplanes will be seeing more of them. So when you are in an airplane, you will be seeing more of us. Please be.
Go ahead.
Please be excited.
Yeah.
And please teach. All of you listening now, whether live or after, you are teachers. Please teach. All of you are teachers. All of you, even the ones doubting yourselves right now, saying, I don't know how, you are a teacher. Teach. Harlow.
When we talk about first contact, is that something that's going to be on an individual basis that won't necessarily be known worldwide, or will it be a big event?
When you say first contact, how is that any different than what's happening?
Maybe as a being rather than a ship.
They laugh.
They laughing at me.
Just imagine that for a moment. It'll be sooner than you think.
Because I'm, in Dream, I already saw one, so I'm just curious.
For you, different than for the planet. And for those watching, you hear us, you understand us. It's different for you all. We cannot come en masse. We can't do that. We won't do that. Again, we will not interfere with free will. For those of you choosing to raise your vibration, we will make ourselves known. Please do not disregard dreams as if it is not real. It is real. Your linear way of thinking that if you cannot see it, touch it, feel it with the eyes open, then it's not real, needs to stop. They're not yelling at you, Harlow. They're just saying in general. Harlow, there's a book for you to write about them. A novel for you to write about them. Not necessarily one group, but there's a novel of stories, short stories, short stories. I'm not sure which. Fiction, nonfiction, all of it combined. Thick. It's thick, though.
Okay.
What else? Questions?
Not really getting any questions. Do they inhabit other planets?
So, although we are not like humans, where we prevent others from being in our space. There is a mutual respect and understanding of other energies and their homes. There's a vibration that is listened to, respected, heard, felt. It is not a you can't or we don't want. It is a simple understanding, communication, vibration level. Mars is ours, not humans. Mars is ours. It is not for humans to take over. You are welcome to visit. You are welcome to experience it. You will not have it. And this is where you will see in gentle interference until it needs to be a stronger interference. Someone in the comments had mentioned that, right?
Jennifer
Taking
asked, will humans be allowed to create life on Mars?
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
That's a incredible coincidence. I think they made that clear, right?
Definitely. And then 3D ask, has any
Hold
human throughout...
Hold that thought really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
This is an example of where I think it was 3D where somebody said how humans will interfere with destroying other planets or what have you. This is where we will intervene and we will interfere, and it will not happen. It will not happen. Hold on. This is where we are allowed to step in. It will not happen. And nope. Okay, they're saying something else. They don't want me to have that information. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
3D ask, has any human throughout history attained the level of enlightenment they would like us to be at?
Of course. Of course. Of course. Lots of information coming in really quickly.
Okay.
Jesus his whole intention was to tell you that you are he and he is you. But humans decided to put him up as if he was better than, as if he had something others didn't have. Humans chose to not hear him. This is the beginning of where consciousness started to lower. Jesus continued to go out and say, no, do not put me up here. Join me up here. Join me up here. You are me and I am you. Everything I can do, you can do. Everything you can do, I can do. But humans refused to hear that and instead created this hierarchy. This is not a unusual request, this stepping into enlightenment. It is not some unheard of. Humans have decided that only some of you can do one thing and only some of you can do another thing. They're speaking now about, as Maryam has always stated, what she does, you can do and you should do. This is why the teaching is, don't look to me or anyone else like this as if they have something you don't have. We all have it. Use it. We are not asking you to reach a height that is unattainable. Your fear, your doubt, society has decided that you are only one way and can only do one thing. You must overcome that. You must overcome that. And there is no secret. And it costs no money. Just do the work. Anything else?
That's about it right now.
Before I come out, did we cover everything we wanted? We talked about the oceans, the plasmoids.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
That was a lot. Are we still here? Am I still here?
Yeah, that was a lot. It was interesting, though.
You guys, that was great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Linda's here. All right. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun. It has been an exciting week. Any closing thoughts, Harlow?
Oh, you said it. Just do the work.
Yeah,
Everybody
right?
can do it. Yeah.
Any other questions before we go, you guys? That was really fun. It was fascinating for me too, because you guys are ready to hear it and to feel it. So I was able to channel it. So thank you. That was what I feel like it's what we've been wanting to do, is like get in there and go, what is this? So as things progress, we'll keep coming back for more. Thanks, you guys. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Harlow.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were gonna have Melissa with us, but she there was some miscommunication, the poor little thing. So we'll do it again with Melissa, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Some great comments too. Really appreciate everybody chiming in. It was great.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Harlow. Okay, we'll see you all next week. Thank you, Anton.